Hey guys, this is Nelson.
And I'm Henry.
And this is Flat 6 Media.
As always, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and ring that bell so we can continue to give you more interesting, fun episodes.
Or we'll go away.
And this is the 2020 Acura MDX.
All right, 2020 Acura MDX because there is no 2021. Sorry, 2021, you get no MDX, but you get a 2022 that is beautiful but costly. So how do you remedy that? You get a 2020, which is still really good value. Comes with all of the toys and all of the gadgets. Maybe not wrapped as pretty as the new one.
Yep.
Not wrapped as pretty, but very functional. Layout's still good. Ride's still very comfortable. Gauges, yeah, you get the old stuff. It's the old generation, but works really well.
Even though it's dated, it still makes sense.
Yeah.
And you have to understand it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a luxury vehicle.
Right.
So while the design of it in and of itself might be old, and yes, everyone's favoring the new one with the nice high screen in the middle and everything, it doesn't mean that this sucks.
No, it doesn't suck at all. I mean, it's more intuitive, I'm gonna say, than the newer version, because the newer version you have to get used to the true touch pad with the screen that's far away. But this one, the cool thing is you actually do have a touch screen rather than a ThinkPad,
right.
Even though it looks like MS-DOS, as you said in earlier conversations about this. But the top screen doesn't give you the urge to touch it, and it's very clear that you're going to use the center knob and all your buttons here.
Like a knob with an actual purpose where it's tied into. Yes.
Right. And the knob works. And the biggest updates to this 2020 was that in 2019 they updated the drivetrain, so transmission's a lot smoother and you can feel it in the drive.
Yes.
Very much.
Yes.
Huge difference. Also, you get wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
I like the red push to start button. It's very clear and obvious. It gives it, even though it's not an A spec, it's not a sports mode. But it's not just that it's upscale. It's that it's still like, hey, I'm still a little sporty. I mean, and it brings shoddy or super handling all-wheel drive, as many people like to do it the long way.
As Nelson loves to do it.
And like to pin, yeah, absolutely. Everyone knows I'm a guy of interiors.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the colors. So the beige, the cream color, fine. The wood dash, not so much. It doesn't. It looks like a pine.
And the application of it, yeah, it looks like they added this stuff later and said, okay, yeah, let's put metal here.
Yeah.
Let's put something that looks like wood here.
Absolutely.
So if you're gonna get this, get it black. Everything in black with the nice piping that it comes with. That clean button interface.
Yeah.
All they did was they moved all of the buttons and all of the menus into the interface as part of this MS-DOS center screen. So once you get in there, you're gonna have to dig around for stuff. So it's not as clean or as simple as the new interface.
With that interface though, when you're trying to get to different settings, is it just the same as an intuitive where the stuff that you would normally want to hit are at the high level and then you have to dig for the
no, because even for the climate control, you have to dig around. For your heated seats, yeah, they're there present on the main menu, but guess what? When you click it, you have to actually punch other buttons to get it to work. So it's not as clean as an actual button on the new interface.
Yeah.
We didn't comment on the backup camera. Backup camera looks like something out of 2005, like a webcam that you would find on your computer, on your desktop.
So
that looks like a big old egg.
Needless to say, not great.
Not great. Okay, so I have to say, off the bat, it's a pretty quiet and smooth ride. Acceleration's good. As soon as you give it gas, this thing goes. It really plants your butt in the seat. Some things to talk about. It is big and it is bulbous, but with the shoddy, with the super handling all-wheel drive, it's managed really, really well. There's not much pitch and dip and toe in the vehicle. Another big thing in comparison to the RDX with the new interface, the new placement of the shift buttons that everybody hates, including myself. I'm still getting used to them. The buttons here, it's although the same layout, you know, with similar buttons, you know, circular drive button, etc. Since this is placed right by your hand, leading off of the armrest, it's a lot easier to use than the new interface in all of their products right now. So, although when I saw this for the first time, I said I couldn't possibly like it, this is actually a lot more intuitive than the updated model. So, that means that the 2020 has a lot of wins for the price.
Absolutely. I will say, since again it's like 95 degrees outside, the AC in here is not as strong as what we tested before, and that is interesting.
The rest of this thing is absolutely monstrous. You got a very spacious back seat, fits 3 adults. This model's not fitted with the captain's chairs. And you get a third row that I wouldn't recommend any adult sitting in. Let's keep the kids back there. Plus, you get some cargo behind that third row with a nice stowaway, hideaway trunk, which is pretty slick.
Interestingly, I have seen an adult and 3 or 2 teenagers in that third row. So it depends how much torture you're willing to deal with. You can really stuff yourself in there. But again, it is not recommended.
No, not at all. If you want that, that's when you got to start moving up to the Tahoes and cars of that size and the like.
Yeah, now as far as the other feature comforts of this car, and one of the things that you spoke to already, the ELS system exists in this one.
It is top notch.
And we're not going to be able to play it through on this video, but just take our word for it. It is fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, so it's Henry's turn to drive this.
I naturally reached for a shifter. So how about I have yet to really drive, besides your car once, yet to drive a car with a
button shifter?
Yeah.
All right. We are still in reverse.
All right.
There we go.
I'll make it a quick one, but about to make a left-hand turn here. I gotta tell you, the position already, the seats are comfortable. It feels more comfortable as a driver than it did as a passenger for whatever reason.
Heck of a lot smoother. It's a lot more sedate and quiet in the cabin.
The road noise is super controlled, and that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
The power, it is responsive. I'll give it that. The maneuverability, it's just giving me sound. It might be piped in just a little bit, but nonetheless, she's a pretty smooth, straightforward drive. So, I mean, let's be real. It's a car that is capable of handling turns quickly, but it's not meant to be raced. It's not meant to be pushed that hard, right? This is the family hauler.
Yep.
It is, you're taking it to school, you're taking it to the grocery store. It's, again, competing with your Lexuses, your QX60s.
It's definitely in the right class, and it's worth every penny of the $48,000 that this truck adds up to.
Yes.
Now the argument here is, do you spend the money and do you get a 2022 for close to $60,000 for this package, or do you find whatever's out on the market? And you can still find these out there available at Acura dealers for about 40 to 48, 50 grand.
So, I mean, in the new one, you'll get the upgraded tech. Obviously, it's going to be new stuff. It's a gorgeous design.
More power.
And more power. So, I mean, are they packaging it appropriately? Absolutely. Why wouldn't anyone do that? However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should run into the brand new car. The truth is, if you're leasing cars, they're not going to lease great at the beginning. Nope. The feature set, they're going to charge you for every last thing, and they know how to price them appropriately for what they're giving you. I think holding back a little bit, taking the 2020 as this model right here is a technology package. If you were to get the advanced package, I don't think you'll be missing much. You get shoddy, you get the super handling all-wheel drive, you get the maneuverability, you get the sound system,
you get the comfort,
you get all the comfort, you get the space, again, that you should expect for a 3-row SUV, and you get the looks. I mean, it's still a good-looking vehicle.
Really good. I was really surprised what this looked like in front of the camera. I was like, wow, this actually looks really cool.
Yep. And shoddy does its thing. Now again, shoddy engages as the car is accelerating through a turn. It still gives you the confidence you need whenever you need to push a car like this, that you will be able to be just fine on the other side.
All right, final impression on the 2020 MDX?
If it was Henry and he was on the market, would I still look at the 2022? Probably would.
I would.
Yeah, I definitely would. However, as you start to think about money and how far is your buck really going, I think at the end of the day, paying a decent amount for a fully loaded version of this as opposed to what would be maybe a base model of the 2022,
Yeah.
I'd probably favor this guy.
I would probably favor this guy.
Yeah.
The looks are still there. You don't get a super updated infotainment system, but you get a very livable.
It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. What can you be mad at?
What else you need?
You don't need anything else. I mean, and a lot of brands are starting to recognize that.
So buy it, lease it, skip it.
I'd lease it at a minimum.
At a minimum, I'd lease it.
At a
But this
minimum,
is
lease
actually
it.
good to own.
Yes,
You know, I mean,
absolutely.
this is something that would last you 10 years, no problem.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes, absolutely. It will have the longevity without maybe breaking the bank on some of the repairs that you would expect to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, 2020, you're old to some people, but not to us.
Yes. It's new to many.